What up guys, JP back at you once again, bringing you guys another review. This time we are not reviewing a movie, but we're actually doing something a little bit different. We will be reviewing a TV show, at least the first season. And today I have Scream, the TV series, coming to us courtesy of Anchor Bay. Scream, the TV series, is now heading into its second season, but the first season began airing June 30th of 2015, so almost a year ago. I did catch it when it came on. I watched the pilot and maybe 2 or 3 other episodes, and I quickly lost interest and decided to not DVR it and not really head back to it. Not necessarily because I didn't like it, even though I did think that it was fairly average. I thought that it had potential. I just didn't really feel like watching it anymore. It didn't grip me right away. I figured I would wait for another release. It was on Netflix, but I decided to wait for the DVD, and that's how I watched it here, courtesy of Anchor Bay Home Entertainment. I blazed through this entire season in pretty much a weekend. So this TV show is obviously based on the Scream films. It is based on the narratives that Kevin Williamson and Wes Craven came up with in Scream 1 through 4. It is kind of very far removed because it does not have any direct correlation with those characters and the previous storylines that we know of, at least in season 1. It is just sort of taking the concept, the core concept, where you have teenagers in a small town who are being picked off by a masked killer, and it sort of has that meta style to it where it's self-referential. There's very aware of slasher movies and films that came before them. The characters are very witty and dropping lines that make them aware of pop culture-y type things, which makes it very interesting for the viewer to kind of pick up on certain references and things like that. It is kind of interesting to take a slasher film and kind of spread it throughout 10 episodes. Season 1 is 10 episodes. And first and foremost, I gotta say, the pilot was kind of weak. It does a lot of the things that the original Scream film did, but it only does them poorly. It kind of was almost doing a callback to the original Scream film, but because everything was so subpar, it made it bad. It made it very obvious that it was not Scream, because the original opening to Scream is brilliant, and this was kind of lame. But if you get past that, you kind of move through a couple episodes. There are a couple emotional death scenes early on. I felt like they kind of slowed down and then picked back up towards the end. You do start to care for these characters. At first they might come off obnoxious and douchey and teenage lames, but if you kind of separate yourself, because, you know, I'm 25 years old, I'm no longer in this age bracket, but I'm close enough to where I was a teenager that I can understand the lingo, and, you know, I can understand the mindset of a teenager, because it was, you know, not that long ago that I was one myself. It's just in a different era. So I kind of started to understand these characters. I started to sort of understand the reason why they were acting certain ways. And once you understand them, you can really care for them and you can really be on board with them. And that's what's going to make or break this series for you. If you do not care about the characters, if you don't find them funny, if you don't care anything about them at all, if you don't find them interesting, if you don't find their subplots interesting, then you're going to hate this series, because there's nothing left for you besides a few kills. And let's face it, you can just watch a movie for that. But if you can find a way to connect with these characters, you can find a way to understand these characters, then I think that you will enjoy this series. I started off not really caring for them, but I eventually came around, and I actually like a lot of them now. And when it was all said and done, there are a lot of red herrings. There are a lot of twists and turns, most of which you know are not going to be the real killer. You know, it's a red herring. You just know right away, like, okay, this is obviously just leading us down a rabbit hole of nowhere. You know, if anything, what it does is, you know, a lot of times with these red herrings, you get more character development out of seeing them as the potential killer. By the end of it, I actually didn't know who the killer was, and I heard a lot of people who reviewed this series say that they knew it right away, and I honestly didn't. I was surprised. I didn't have any idea who it was when it was revealed, or who they were, or who the one person was. It doesn't matter, because Not going to spoil it. But I did think that it was interesting who they chose, but I also think that it was a little lame the way that it was revealed, if I'm going to be 100% honest. It just seemed almost like tongue-in-cheek. It didn't feel, and even in the second Scream film, I feel like when the killer is revealed, it kind of has that moment a little bit too. It's really hard to reveal these and then have like a monologue about like why you did it and stuff without it coming off like, oh, this is like rolly eye type stuff. But overall, I actually really did enjoy Scream the TV series, and I am looking forward to season 2, which will hit May 30th of 2016. So this month, Scream Season 2 starts, and I'm willing to check it out because it kind of does leave on a little bit of a cliffhanger. I want to see where these characters go. And if you guys are curious to pick up the DVD, I definitely suggest to grab it. It is not available in Blu-ray, but the DVD I'm sure you can find cheap enough somewhere. And if you're not a Netflix person, if you like to own physical media, the DVD is definitely worth it. I mean, the 10 episodes, nearly 10 hours of TV show, it's worth watching in my opinion if you can get into it. And this DVD comes out May 10th, so you guys will be able to pick this up next Tuesday. It'll be available for purchase on Amazon, Walmart, all these different places that you want to check it out. I'm actually very overall satisfied with the show. It is not Scream like the people who grew up in the 90s know and love. It is a different version of Scream, and it's a very loose version of that. I feel like the referentials, the self-referential, the references to horror movies and pop culture kind of died down mid-season and kind of really died down late in the show too. It seemed like very strong at first, but overall, pretty satisfied, I gotta say. So I'm gonna go ahead and give Scream a solid 6.5 out of 10 for the first season. Let's hope season 2 picks it up a bit, makes it a little bit more interesting, and we'll see you then.